Hi Richard.
Hello.
How are you
Cam,
doing?
it's nice to actually meet you.
It is.
Aye.
I got in touch just after the RMMG gathering last year.
The RMMG.
Yes, I met Will McNichol. It's a gathering that's been going now for 22 years, I think.
Right.
Goes back to the pre-Guitar Forum days when there was news groups.
Uh-huh.
And you used an email program to communicate with your guitar nerd friends before
Okay.
the forums kind of started. So
Right.
it's been going a long time.
RMMG, what does that stand
It's the news groups had strange lettering, and it went with rec.music.makers.guitar.acoustic.
for? Uh-huh.
So that's how it began.
Right.
And they have gatherings all over the world, and the UK one's been going for 22 years.
My goodness.
So I was
That's
at
very
that.
impressive, yeah?
Yeah, it started, the first one I went to was in Buxton,
Mm-hmm.
up in Derbyshire, and now it's held down in the Cotswolds.
Right.
Beautiful big country mansion that we hire for a weekend.
Right.
That's where I met Clive the first time.
Oh, right.
Clive
Okay.
actually does a residential workshop there as well.
Oh, right.
But yeah, so I met Will McNichol.
Yes.
He's like, you need to get to Ullapool.
Right.
I can't believe I've never been. 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
That's
Yep.
remarkable.
It's been a long go, like, you know.
Aye.
But yeah, we've had some really fantastic, from Andy Fairweather Lowe, Robbie McIntosh, who's played a few times with Gordon Haskell, who got knocked off the #1 record at Christmas by, I don't know, somebody singing "Boots Are Made for Walking" or something. I don't know. I can't remember. But it's all. I mean, there's a lot of big names we've had over the years, you know,
Aye.
and they've all been great, really, really great players, and no edge to them. And we're so lucky with the people that we have as our sort of hardcore, like Hugh Burns.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hugh Burns, Clive Carroll, John Goldie.
Yeah.
You know, that's a pretty strong core to have.
Indeed.
And then along the way, we've picked up some waifs and strays, and they've become sort of like part of it as well. You know,
Yeah.
like Will's had a big part in the festival. Will McNichol,
Yeah.
and he won young guitarist of the year or something in 2000, and I don't know, what would it have been, 15 or something like
Right.
that. And one of the judges was a chap called Tristan Sume,
Oh,
who he's played at the festival since like 2004. Sometimes he's just done workshops, but he loves to come up, and so, you know, he's always come along. And he worked at ACM in Guildford for 10 years.
right.
He took over from Eric Roach.
Oh, yes. I never got to meet Eric.
Teaching.
Yeah.
We've had Eric Roach. Eric Roach was a big influence on all of us up here.
Yeah.
Sadly, no longer with us. I mean, it really is sad. He's a lovely, lovely man, he was, you know. I've lost a few along the way. Big Jim Sullivan, he was up. Things like that, you know. People like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been great. It really has. And you know, we've got people like John Jorgensen's on tonight, and he's been a sort of guitar hero of mine for a long, long time. And actually getting to meet him this will be the second or third time he's played the festival.
Okay.
And he's got connections with Scotland as well, which is great, you know. There's a guy down near Kinross who used to book all these amazing people, and I was always intrigued as to how he could get them, and it was all because of through John, you know.
Right.
And like they're Albert Lee, and they'd have Andy Fairweather Lowe, and
Yeah,
people like
yeah.
that, you know. And yeah, that's somebody else I'd like to get back is Andy Fairweather Lowe. He's only played it once with Dave Bronze.
Right.
They were great. You should look at some of these people, like Dave Bronze. You put him in his name in Google, and it's like a history of rock, you know.
Yeah.
It's incredible, you know, the people that we've had over the years. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot and we're trying to encourage more sort of young people as well. Like your Innes Watsons,
Uh-huh.
the guy's a musical genius.
He is.
And then Will, and then we've got these young guys from Germany, you know, Sonka Meinen,
Yeah.
and Julie Maliska, you know.
Yeah.
They both studied at music college in Dresden, and they've got classical background, but They've studied world music as well, you know.
Okay.
So they've got huge, diverse influences, you know. It's great.
It's a nice range of performers that you have. It's not all just one style. It's
So
broad.
I'm trying to get a good mixture, you know, an eclectic mix.
Aye.
You know, and then there's a bit of humour thrown in as well. Like people like Richard Smith. I mean, he's got a wicked sense of humour, and you know, and the crowd love that. You know, you've got your full-on, like Gary Ryan today was magnificent stuff he played. And then you had somebody like Remy Harris. There's another young guitarist who's absolutely stunning, you know.
Yeah.
You know, Remy was amazing last night.
He was.
And his bass player, that's the first time I've seen Tom Moore. Folks, if you want a bass player, he's unbelievable. And they work together so well. It's like two peas in a pod, you know. It's great.
Just watching the communication between the two of them.
Yeah, it's like all this eye contact. Fantastic.
And the Zelinskis as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, they were amazing.
They really were.
Yeah. Again, young German.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff coming out of Germany. And it's great, you know, it really is good. Karl Verheyen was here a couple of years ago. He was like a real shredder. But he writes music for films and adverts and all kinds of stuff. He's a bit like Hugh Burns. Hugh Burns, we were just talking about that just now. I mean, people don't know this, but you know, he did a lot of the soundtrack music for the film Monty, 12 Monkeys, Guru, The Hobbit.
He's a busy man.
He's an incredible player as well.
He's one of these guys that most people will have heard, even though they might not know they've heard him.
Yeah, I mean, if you've heard Baker Street, you'll have heard Hugh.
Right.
He did the guitar solo.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So you've been involved with this right from the beginning?
Yep, and started off, there was myself and there was a chap called George Harton. He still lives in the village. I haven't seen him for years.
Right.
And what actually happened was that we were asked to create a music festival by a tourism and business association that was formed in the village. And we were asked to do it. And I'd been out to Ireland, and there's 2 or 3 really amazing blues festivals out there, and they're all in pubs, and it's great. It's just fantastic crack, you know. And I was thinking something along those lines, you know. And then George had actually worked for Stefan Grossman.
Okay.
He'd actually worked for him and he made films for him. And so he knew John Renbourn.
Right.
And he knew Robbie McIntosh as well, because he used to live in Sidmouth or Weymouth or one of these places where I think that's where Robbie lives. And so there was phone calls made, and you know, we applied for funding and we got, you know, basically put it together. And then I was so taken with the whole thing that I said, you know, like, what we're going to do next year, you know, how we're going to approach it. And George said, I don't want to do it next year. Right. I'll do it biannually. And I said, well, if you don't do something, it's just going to die. It's just going to wither and die. And I said, I think it's too good for that. So the second year, he said, well, I want to keep the festival name. And I said, well, that's fine. He said, well, you do something then. So I got back in contact with the Highlands and Islands Enterprise people, HIE as it was. And they said, well, make an application, and what are you going to call it? And we called it the Ullapool Guitar Weekend.
Right.
And then I sort of made it a bit bigger. We had more music around the village. We used to have like all these people playing in pubs. Like you'd walk into a pub and somebody like Hugh Burns would be sitting playing guitar, or John Renburn would be sitting playing guitar, you know, and just people would just walk in and go, wow, you know. So we did a bit more of that. We got more of the local boozers involved. And then George came down to see me one day and he said, I'm not doing this again. And he gave me the codes for the website and all that. We got gifted that. We got given that by some lovely Americans who just walked in one day, you know, and they gave us it.
I can count on Ullapool.
And that's the story of it all. And then basically, I mean, we've said it's 20 years of a guitar festival of some sort. You know? Although it had a different name the second year, but I don't think that really matters that much.
No.
But I mean, I was really involved. We had a lot of meetings. We formed the Ullapool Guitar Guild to sort of facilitate the festival in the first place. And it's had a few changes over the years. There was another organisation here in the village called Ullapool Entertainments, and they were sort of very broad brush approach to it all, and they took me under their wing and helped me with the finance and stuff for some of the later ones.
Right.
You know, because it was hard going.
Yeah.
And then all the pubs changed hands, and the new tenants didn't want to get involved. I mean, they were tenants. They weren't. All the pubs were sold, and our main sponsor sold up as well. It was one of the big hotels. So it's had a checkered career. It's not been that easy over the years, I have to say. But we're here, and this. I mean, the MacPhail Centre is the best venue that we've ever had, and we just want to keep this. This is fantastic because we do everything here now. Everything, the Lake Club, the trade show, and the concert. And it's a great concert. You know, the theatre's it's great.
Yeah.
To say it's the community wing of a school, you know, it's fantastic.
Aye.
And we've got all these workshop rooms, so workshops in the morning, and they're becoming really, really popular.
Alternate ending. Great.
Carol ending.
Yeah.
We're hoping that we might be able to maybe do some kind of like a week of, you know, I could bring somebody like Clive or Will McNichol or Hugh Burns, any of these guys up for the week in the run up to the festival, or maybe even after. It just depends on how it would fit in with the school, and we could sort of, you know, make something else out of it.
It's interesting.
Because we'd really like to up our education input, you know, but it's limited time, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aye.
Because I need that audience to pay for it all.
Uh-huh.
So keep them happy.
The audience is to be sitting in that theatre. The sound, for one thing, is phenomenal.
I know.
The audience is such a listening audience.
Yeah.
So quiet.
It's fantastic.
It's a magical place.
And we're
to
very
be.
blessed because we have two of the best sound men in the business that actually live in the village or on the loch side.
Right.
And Nigel, he lives up the road.
Aye.
And he spends most of his time travelling around the world. And he's done Glastonbury, sound for Glastonbury. And
Right.
He tours a lot with Ronan Keating.
Okay.
He was telling me, you know, I bump into him in Tesco's, you know, oh, Nigel, what are you doing? What have you been up to? You know, I've been away, like, you know. And one time I was like, he said, I was touring Europe, Eastern Europe, you know. I said, who was that with? He says, Bob the Builder. He said, well, we're doing ice rinks right across Europe, you know. He said, with all these people in outfits, you know, doing Bob the Builder stuff, you know. Can we build it or can we mend it or something? I don't know.
We can.
Yes, we can. And the other week he was saying, he says, I was in Transylvania.
Right.
He says, I got limousined away from the plane. Never mind going through customs or anything, just like, take him, you know. That was really funny. It's great crack. He's a lovely man as well.
This is my first festival.
Right.
I've been to Steve Kaufman's camp
Oh, yes.
one time, and it reminds me a bit of that, the same kind of vibe. And
Yeah. Steve's played this.
magical. Has he?
He's been here yet?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
He is.
He sort of gave up the road for a wee while. I think his son, he was having problems and family problems, and his son, I don't know what he never actually expanded on it or anything. But he said, "No, I'm going to be off the road for a couple of years," and then that's when his camp things really started to take off.
Aye.
Yeah. He does a lot of really good work teaching.
He does.
So, and Clive's been over, John Goldie's been over that I know of, and a lot of these guys tour with Tommy Emmanuel as well. You know, for Richard Smith, John's done it, Clive's done it, and then a few like Johnny Dickinson used to tour with Tommy as well. I saw them playing Leeds together, you know.
Right. I think I saw them in Glasgow together.
Aye.
Quite well.
Johnny was amazing. It was so sad when he died. So sad. I was so happy to see him last year. You know, it was great. It really was.
Well, congratulations on 20 years.
Thank you very much indeed. It's very kind of you to say so.
I can't believe it's taken me so long to get to one.
I can't believe it either. You know, finger on the pulse here, Cams, you know what I mean?
Aye. Well, I'll be back, that's for sure. I might even do the early bird thing.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it does help us immensely. I've got a finite number of seats. And obviously, when I know what my budget is, that helps me. Well, it's always nice to know what your budget is.
Aye.
Because I don't ever want to be in a situation where I can't pay people, you know.
Yeah.
No, it's not the way I work.
Well, one of the things that struck me was how many of the musicians got on stage and spoke of family and second family. And when I talked to people in the audience, have you been before? Oh, I only 10 times. So
yeah.
I'm only one other person I've met that has come for the first time this year. I think we're the only two, maybe. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that. There are a couple of new faces, I have to say.
Okay.
I see it on. I've got all the tickets and all that stuff. They're all on spreadsheets, you know.
Aye.
And you just see some new names now and again.
Right.
But sometimes you'll get somebody who's been lots of times and they'll book 5 tickets or something like that, you know.
Aye.
And so that's great. You don't know who they are actually. It's just like 5 tickets. Well, and it's all under one name, so you don't know who the individuals are, whether they're bringing folk. But that's been the best marketing for us, is word of mouth. You know.
Oh, you spoke on stage last night, didn't you?
Yeah.
You asked the question.
Yeah, I always ask that question. How many people are here because of, you know, a friend's recommended us or something like that? And we say to folk, you know, bring a friend. You know, if you've really enjoyed it, bring a friend with you. You know. And it's taken 20 years to get to that stage, you know, where it's a sellout in advance of the event, you know. It's a lovely feeling, knowing that you've got the money in the bank to pay everybody and things like that, you know. It's a relief. I don't wake up in the middle of the night sweating anymore. Thank goodness. And have you interviewed a lot of people like me or musicians?
Most players and makers.
Players and makers.
Yes, I spoke to Tristan today. I spoke to Clive back at that RMMGA thing.
Oh, right.
In the summer this year. Will McNichol last year, that was how it kind of launched.
Right.
Gordon Giltrap.
Right. Gordon's done here. Yeah.
Jen Butterworth.
Glasgow.
Glasgow. A few makers, Adrian Lucas, Malcolm Griffiths of Sheaf Guitars from Sheffield.
Oh, right. I don't know that one.
No,
he's not been up.
He's a regular at the RMMGA thing as well.
Oh, there's so many luthiers.
Yeah. I spoke to John Goldie this morning.
Aye, yeah. Well, he's a great ambassador for the festival.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Hugh Burns you want to get.
I would like to, yeah.
He's got some stories. I mean, the man is a legend. He is an absolute legend. And it was Alan Thompson and I were talking to John Goldie, and Hugh came, and they played on the same albums, but they'd never actually met. So it was them. They just met in the foyer. And you know, they both knew who each other were, you know, but they'd never actually physically met. And it's in Ullapool. Things happen in Ullapool.
And it stays here, right?
Well, yeah, we've got lots of festivals as well, so don't, book festival, dance festival, the guitar festival, and unfortunately we've lost Ullapool Festival. That was last weekend.
Talking to my landlady about that.
It's a shame. It is a shame. Yeah, the man in charge of that was Robert Hicks, but he has an agency and he puts bands on all over the place. In fact, I'm going to see John Smith in Glasgow on the 31st of October, and then I'm going to the Royal Conservatoire Big Guitar Weekend. That's organised by Alan Neve, and it's all in the Royal Conservatoire. If you're in Glasgow, go. It's absolutely wonderful. And John's playing it at Arran Moor on the whatever night, the Thursday night I think it is. It's the 31st of October. And so John's playing there, and he's great, man.
Yeah.
Great singer-songwriter, and great guitar player as well. You try and work some of his stuff out. It's quite difficult, some of it. Anyway, so there you go, Cams. It's been great to meet you, and hopefully we'll see you again and all that.
For sure.
Yeah, it'd be
Absolutely.
great. Yeah.
Thank you, Richard.
Okay.